Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. So I have a bunch of new makeup, odds and ends, just a ton of new stuff from Ulta and Sephora. And I haven't been able to include them in a video on their own, so I thought let's compile them all today. Some of the products I'll be including in today's video are the new IT Cosmetics Tapered Bronzing Brush, number 150, sold at Ulta. From Lady Gaga's brand Haus Labs, a new highlighter in the shade Rose Quartz. New shades in Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush and Highlight Sticks. A new eyeliner from Tarte Sugar Rush called Easy on the Eyes. Also from Tarte Sugar Rush, the new Eye Smoothie formula in the shade Rosy Copper. And a couple other odds and ends, some of them are new and others are new to me. So if you're excited to see how these products perform on my 30+ skin, don't forget to hit the like button, the notification bell, and let's get started right now. Alright, I am completely barefaced. The only thing I have on is my skincare. So before I dive into some of these new products, I do need to prep the under eyes. So to do so, I'm going to use the Ulta Under Eye Primer, the Ulta Beauty Under Eye Brightener, and a little bit of Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. Now these products are of course not new, but I always like to show some of the products I'll be using in the video today. I really have been enjoying this Ulta Under Eye Primer. You know, not everything from the Ulta Beauty brand is a hit, but when I find them, some of them are hidden gems. I have really been enjoying this Ulta Under Eye Brightener. It is such a great product. It is not thick like a concealer. It's pretty thin, and I love the ease. You can just swipe it underneath the eyes, and the brightening effect, it just gives a little bit of radiance underneath the eyes. Now I typically use a brush for these types of products. However, I've actually found that using a finger is my favorite way. See how this product just brightens up the under eye area, and it also has a blurring effect. I just added a teensy bit of the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. So next, let's move on to the new IT Cosmetics brush. So this is a new IT brush for Ulta, which means it is an exclusive only sold at Ulta, and it is called the Tapered Bronzing Brush, number 150. Now I've been on the hunt for a new bronzer brush for quite some time. Now I do find that most bronzing brushes are not pinched at the ferrule like this one is. So because this brush is pinched at the ferrule, it is going to provide a much more precise application. Now this brush is one of the softest IT Cosmetics brushes I've ever felt. And because of how these bristles are tapered, I do find it gives an airbrush effect to the skin. So I am all about multi-purpose products, so let's test out using this brush with a powder foundation. This is the new 16-hour Cover and Last Essence Powder Foundation. I recently reviewed this product, so if you're curious, I will link it right up here for you. Now, is this brush shape and the size ideal for powder foundation? Probably not, but I just want to test it out. So because this brush is tapered, I find you can go in and do paddle-like motions, and it works quite well. I was really shocked at the amount of product that this brush picks up on just one or two dips, so definitely be careful when you go in for the first time. So it's a little bit big for underneath the eyes, but can you make it work? For sure. Well, I think that looks really nice using the brush on the left half of the face. Nothing on this side. This is such a versatile brush. I just love how it's cut, how fluffy it is, but it's also precise at the same time. Well, I would say this brush worked wonderfully for powder foundation. A little bit big for underneath the eyes, but as I mentioned, you can definitely make it work. Alright, next let's test out this brush using a bronzer. This is a new Morphe bronzer in the shade Bronze Vibes. So that was one light dip. Now, regardless of your preference for application, you can go in with sweeping motions, you can buff, or you can stipple. So I'm just going to focus this on the outer cheekbone since we will be going in with a blush. Do a little bit of buffing here. So see how this just gives such a nice airbrush effect? There's no harsh lines. It blended everything seamlessly into the skin. So definitely a 10 out of 10 for the new IT Cosmetics 150 bronzer brush. So let's add some eyeshadow primer next. This is the 24-hour Too Faced Shadow Insurance. Now you may recognize this eyeshadow primer, but it was recently reformulated. Now I never tried the original, but I was super curious to try out this new reformulation. Now I do quite like the size of the doe foot. I find it is just the perfect size for my small eyes, not oversized like some doe foots can be. Now, I feel like it has a slight scent. It's not strong, but I'm getting a little bit of vanilla to it. So let's get a little bit of this on the eyes. Use my favorite Shop Miss A brush for eye primer. I would say this product is sheer. It does appear to have a slight tint to it. However, once blended in, I don't feel like it's really covering up any of my veins or anything like that. So I have no eyeshadow primer on this side. Now, even though I'm using a brush, I can tell there is a very slight tack. Nothing like the Fenty primer. That one is pretty tacky. Yeah, I am getting a slight bit of coverage, but definitely not much. I don't know about you guys, but I am always on the hunt for the perfect eye primer. Now, I really enjoyed the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer in the shade Rose because that had a cool undertone. It had a slight tack, but it also had a bit of coverage to it. And unfortunately, that has been discontinued, sadly. Now, I do like how this eye primer is sitting on the lids. I have quite a bit of dehydration, especially on the inner corner, and I find it's covering that area quite nicely. It doesn't seem to be clinging to any of those spots. Let's give that a chance to sink into the lids. Next, let's move on to the new shades from the ABH sticks. So these sticks come with a brush on one side and the product on the other. Now, I personally don't find the brushes that are included in this product very helpful. They are so dense that I find they can be a little bit harsh on my skin and they don't really blend the product evenly. So the blush shade is Bubblegum and the highlighter is Pink Diamond. So here we have Bubblegum and Pink Diamond. Look at that sheen. That looks beautiful. Now, when you come up really close, I am noticing a few specks of shimmer in both of these shades. Not a lot, just a few. So let's start with Pink Diamond. So this formula is very thin and there is no tack or any sort of dewiness. So if you have oily skin and you want a little bit of a glow in a stick formula, this could be a good option. All right, that is beautiful. I really like the shade Pink Diamond. Now, even though there are shimmer specks on the swatch, as I mentioned, I think once it's on the skin, it's not super noticeable unless you get up close. Up close, I can see them, but when I pull back a little bit, I'm not really noticing them. Now, keep in mind, I used a powder foundation, and this is blending over top quite nicely. Let's put just a little bit down the bridge of the nose and Cupid's bow. A little bit on the tip. All right, I really like this ABH highlight stick in the shade Pink Diamond. I don't know if I would recommend this formula if you have a ton of texture. Granted, I have acne, breakouts, all of that good stuff, and I think it's sitting quite nicely on the skin. The only reason I say that is because there are tiny particles of shimmer. Let's see if Bubblegum has the same thin consistency because I'm really liking how that feels and sits on the skin. I'm going to see if I can just dab this straight from the stick. Now, I'm not going to apply a ton of this because I do have another blush we're going to use in a moment. Same thin consistency. You know, these blend out so quickly, and I think it is because they are so thin, so you're not sitting there having to blend in a ton of dewiness or anything like that. It's just a very thin formula, which I quite like. All right, I love the shade Bubblegum. It is not my typical cool tone pink that I usually prefer, but I think it gives a very nice, healthy, kind of lit from within flush. All right, next, this is a product I've been so excited to try out. This is from Haus Labs, which of course is Lady Gaga's brand. Now, this is a highlighter, but I picked up the shade Rose Quartz to hopefully use as a blush. Now, this product is made in Italy, and I've heard only great things about these highlighters, so I am so excited to try these out. The first thing I'm noticing is how beautiful the packaging and the embossing on the actual product is. Can you guys see that beautiful shift and sheen this has? So I just swatched this product on the hand. This has to be one of the silkiest textures I've ever felt. Now, I believe these are gel baked products. So here's the shade Rose Quartz next to Bubblegum and Pink Diamond. So what I'm noticing on the swatch of Rose Quartz, this has a beautiful sheen. However, I think because of the depth of this shade, I don't think it's going to be too intense as a blush, but let's find out. Dipping in with my Sonia G Lotus Detail Brush. So I know I have a little bit of blush here, but didn't apply too much. That is beautiful. Let's put a little on the other cheek and then I will build this up. All right, I am pretty excited because I have been on the hunt for a cool tone pink blush that has a little bit of luminosity to it, and this certainly does. Went a little bit overboard, but man, is this shade stunning. All right, I am so excited. This is one of the most beautiful blushes or highlights as a blush that I've ever used. The shade is perfect for my fair cool undertone. This formula is beautiful. There was hardly any kick up in the pan, which is probably because it is that baked gel formula. Now, even though this is a highlight, yes, there is a bit of a sheen to it, but man, is this stunning. This product is definitely going to be one of my daily go-to blush shades. I just can't get over that beautiful glow. I need to pick up more products from Haus Labs. You know, there was one other shade that really intrigued me. I believe it was called Moonshine or Moonstone, and it was a very light silver shade. But now that I know the formula is beautiful, I'm imagining that that shade would probably be like glass skin. So I have a question. I have been taking my blush a little bit further up than I used to, and I feel like I like that better just because the way my cheekbones sit. I feel like if I end my blush here, it looks a little bit severe. You guys have to let me know down below what you think. All right, so you may recall that I recently reviewed the Tarte Sugar Rush Eye Smoothies. At that time, I had only picked up one shade called Mauve. Of course, I went back and picked up another shade called Rosy Copper. I cannot say this enough, assuming that this shade is going to be the exact same formula. This is one of the easiest, most user-friendly cream shadow formulas I've ever used. These seriously blend out so quick, so easy. The shade Mauve just worked beautifully for me, so let's dip into Rosy Copper. I am so excited to test out the shade Rosy Copper. I really enjoyed the shade Mauve, but wanted to test out another one. So I kind of just swipe a bit of this across the lid, focusing more on the outer half. And then watch how quick and easy this product blends out. I am going to layer it up a bit though because I want a little bit more intensity. And I do find these layer quite well. So that's another thing I like about this formula is you have control. Some cream shadows I find are so pigmented and they're a little bit difficult to work with because of that. I don't find that with these. All right, that worked very well, just like the shade Mauve. All right, so this next part is so cool. So with most cream shadows, I find you have to put a little bit on the back of your hand and work off of that to complete the lower lash line. But because of the size of this doe foot, you can just wipe it right across. So I flip the doe foot upside down. And look at that. You don't have to do any blending on the lower lash line. Of course you can if you want to. I did grab a brush just in case to kind of stipple across. But I don't know any cream shadow that has the perfect size doe foot. I mean, look how easy that was on the lower lash line. And let's pop a little bit of rose quartz on the center of the lid. All right, that combination is stunning. I will show you guys up close, but this pink quartz, or I'm sorry, rose quartz shade with rosy copper, that just gave it a little something extra. Can you guys see how rose quartz just catches the light now? I'm surprised this combination works because you're taking a cool shade with a warm, but I think it looks quite nice. Popping it on the inner corner as well. I don't know, you guys, this formula, I have to say, I think it's going to give Pat McGrath a run for her money. All right, next up, Easy on the Eyes liner from Tarte, the Sugar Rush line. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not an eyeliner person, so please keep that in mind during the application process, but I thought it would be good to test it out with someone who isn't super familiar applying liner. It is in the shade Black, and hopefully you can see how precise the tip is. Now, this is a brush liner, not a felt tip. So this is probably going to be a little bit difficult to see on camera, so I apologize. This tip is so precise, already liking that. Now just so you know, I am focusing this almost right above where you tight line. I don't want it to be a super thick line, I just want it to give it just a little bit of something for the lashes to blend into. You guys, this is so easy to work with. This has to be one of the smallest brush tips I've ever used. Granted, I haven't used a ton, but from what I have, this is so easy to use. Now, this is probably not going to be great for someone who likes to kind of stamp it on and be done quickly, just because it is such a precise brush tip. So it might take a minute to build it up if you like a thicker line. All right, so I did not do a wing, but can you guys see how precise, tight, smooth, and even those lines are? Even right on the inner corner. I think that is the most perfect line I have ever done, and that says a lot. Now, I find as someone who is fair and blonde, a lot of the times black liners can look too harsh on me, and I'm thinking that's probably because most of the liners I've tried really give me a super thick line, and with my light hair and skin, it just looks like too much. But this one does an amazing job and kept the line really tight and small. So I can already tell I'm definitely going to be using this more now that I have a formula and a brush tip that actually works for me. So I think this liner would be great also for someone who typically struggles with their liner, just because it gives you such a precise line. So this did take me a couple of minutes to apply, so that's why I say it might not be the best for experts. But you never know. Let me down below if you've tried this out. Alright, so I have been on the hunt for a very pale, cool tone pink nude shade. Now that shade is so difficult to find because most nudes usually lean orange or brown. Now this product is not new, but I happened to swatch it at Ulta the other day, and it is from MAC in the Cream Sheen formula in the shade Cream Cup. Now I'm so excited. I think I finally found my perfect super pale cool tone nude. So I'm just going to dab this on instead of swiping it, just to give me a little flush of color. All right. So what do you guys think about the shade Cream Cup? All right, well, I think that the shade Cream Cup is that perfect pale nude I've been on the hunt for. So excited. All right, next let's move on to false lashes. Now, you may not know this about me, but I actually used to wear false lashes almost every day. Now, I know I don't wear them in many of my videos, but that's typically just because I don't have the extra time. However, I have been using a lash serum for the last couple months that I am going to be talking about soon. Super excited with the results, but I still love to wear false lashes. So what I'm actually going to do in today's video is cut these in half and use them as my own half lashes. Now, I do find that this type of lash that flares out are the best type for this application method. Now, usually when you apply false lashes and you have to trim them, typically it's recommended to trim them from the outer corner. However, for half lashes, I'm going to use the inner half. So here's what they look like out of the box. Aren't these absolutely beautiful? So I'm going to pop these on and be right back. Hi everybody, I am back. It has actually been quite a while since you last saw me on camera, so let me bring you in up close so you can see what the final look looks like. All right, so here you go. Here's what the skin is looking like. The lips, the eyes. I'm loving that new blush shade. I think that is so gorgeous. And I'm noticing no creasing. You know, it is so difficult for me to pick a standout product. Everything I tried today, I absolutely loved. But I have to say, out of everything, the new Rose Quartz highlighter or blush shade from Lady Gaga definitely is a standout for me. So let me know down below, out of everything I tried today, what was your favorite product? And if you guys picked up anything I tried in today's video, let us all know down below what your experience was. Well, I would say this was an absolute slam dunk. I loved absolutely everything I tried out today. Well, I had so much fun testing out all of the products today. I hope you all enjoyed the haul. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye, guys.